Howdy gamers, Patrick Hickey Jr. here, bringing you the next edition of Flashback Friday. This week out, we're going to be playing Mutant League Hockey on the Sega Genesis. So, a lot of you guys know already that this is technically the sequel to Mutant League Football on the Sega Genesis. It's a great game, but it's one that has a pretty wacky story. So, after the success of Mutant League Football, this game was released, but it had about 6 months less time in development than Mutant League Football, and comparatively short lifespan in terms of development. EA at this point in 1993, 1994 was going for their licensed games franchises. They wanted to focus on reality as often as possible. So Michael Menheim, the creator of the Mutant League series, called this kind of like Electronic Arts' bastard child. This was a series. This was a game that wasn't supposed to necessarily sell well, and it did. So, truth be told, you look at the gameplay, and it's not stealing anything from the NHL series or Madden. It uses an engine that's similar, custom made, but it takes the best things from those old school Madden and NHL games and adds something completely interesting. So we see the dead bodies on the the dead bodies on the ice, the holes in the ice, the interesting characters, the funny asides. This is definitely not NHLPA 93. It's not NHL 94. It's something completely different. The thing that I liked about this game too is that more often than not you got to play as the goalie. You could switch over to the goalie when players were coming over to you. So we talk about games later on that introduced goalie control. This was probably the first. So as you can see, dead bodies, players are starting to get hurt. These games got really interesting around the second and third period because you started to see that teams would have less players on the ice. There would be injuries. There would be lots of other things going on besides hockey. Here we go. We just knocked another guy down. We're using weapons now. So even though we're down 1-0, you can see that we've delivered a lot more damage to the opposition. So it's going to be easy to pick up a goal. Here we go. End of the first period. So it's easier to pick up a goal once you beat on the other team a little bit. So that's a cool thing too. You don't necessarily have to be winning to eventually win this game. So like Mutant League Football, you could be down 64-0 and still win. The same thing with Mutant League Hockey. So no penalties. It's kind of like what Arch Rivals and NBA Jam was to the basketball genre is what Mutant League Hockey is to the hockey genre. This game would have been so much fun in the arcade. See, that was the thing too. You can move your goalie around a lot more, so you'd always have to be super careful. I love this stuff. Players talking crap after they score, and then managers and coaches talking. So for me, this always kind of combined ice hockey on the NES and the NHLPA series and just made it into something completely special. So even though it had less time in development, and even though it's not necessarily the game that Michael Menheim and his team wanted, it's still a classic, and it's definitely something that's fun to play, especially, on a Friday. So play, enjoy, watch out for those holes in the ice and the dead bodies.